Hey guys. Okay, I am so sorry, everybody. We are having major technical difficulties because my Wi-Fi is playing with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do this on Facebook. I was trying to do it through StreamYards so that way I could upload it onto YouTube too, and my YouTube channel could see too. But this this thing is playing with me. So Amber's about to be here in just a second. She's going to come on. She's probably going to have to start over, but that's okay. Who gives a fuck, you know? Because I really want y'all to hear her story. I'm so mad right now. But she's going to come on and it'll be all good. So y'all just come on in, hang out. I'm so sorry that my stuff is like ghetto fabulous over here today. But, okay, cool. Let me get her up here. Okay. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Okay. I'm sweating my balls off over here.
Hello.
Okay. Yay. This is going to be perfect. Okay. And it looks good too. Okay, girl.
It was weird.
I'm going to mute myself if I can, and I'm going to let you go ahead. If you want to start over, go ahead and start over. So that way it's a full story. Okay.
Hey everyone.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Amber. My Facebook name. Oh, there's a girl. Maybe I should put headphones on.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We're going to get it together. Y'all stick with us, okay? Stick with us because she's got a good story to tell you guys. And for those of you guys that are on suboxone, this is going to be super encouraging for you because I know that a lot of us struggle with tapering to get off of suboxone. So that's why I really, really want you guys to hear her story because if she can do it, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do it, right? But it gets overwhelming, you know, and it can be scary. So
Can you guys hear me? Okay,
yep.
Perfect. Much better. All right. So my name is Amber, and so my name is Amber Marie Jones on Facebook, and I just recently started sharing about anything of my life this year, let alone my recovery or my suboxone journey or whatever. So, and that's really important for me to say because if I can do this, anybody can do this because I did this alone with very little to no support. And towards the end, I gained some support, but I was already really low on my taper. So, I want to say, so I was on suboxone for 9 years, and I got on suboxone when I was clean.
Me too. I did too. Amber, I have to tell you something. I did too. I was 30 days sober when I got on suboxone. And nobody told me, hey, Nicole, this is gonna be challenging. You're gonna have to taper to get off of that. And that's why I think that doctors should tell you that. I feel like I tell every person that reaches out to me that wants to get on subs. I say, like, let me tell you something. I don't say it's going to be hard or anything like that because that's my opinion, but I do tell them to get off of this medication, you're going to have to taper. Right. So that way they know what they're getting themselves into, right. You know, I feel like my doctor kind of like skipped over that part. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I used all through my teen years, and so I got clean. I want to say I was 19. The timeline's a little messed up. So I was in rehab for about 3 to 4 months. I had an IOP set up, intensive outpatient treatment, and I started to go to NA. And the few meetings that I went to, I wasn't on anything. I was not on suboxone. I was just sitting and listening. Well, one day I went out. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. Now I vape to smoke a cigarette, and there was a dope dealer outside. And I got his number just in case. Well, that just in case came before I knew it, probably not even a week later. And I had no support other than my IOP place. But I did have one person that I felt comfortable with from the rehab. Her name was Denise. And so before I knew it, I don't even really remember much of it, but I placed an order, and the guy was on his way to bring me my drugs of choice, which was heroin and pain pills. All I knew was once I put the order in, the call in, whatever you want to say, I got this extreme amount of guilt over me, but I didn't have any control or like, you know, anything to cancel it or anything, but I just felt so awful. So all I thought to do, and I was waiting to go to my IOP, I was going to get my stuff, go to IOP, and go about my life, was I called the staff member, Disney, from the rehab. And I was in a very, very vulnerable spot, etc. All she heard was the dope man was on his way. And she, hey, everybody. And she goes, Amber, you need to go to your IOP. And in the IOP, there was a Suboxone clinic. She goes, you need to get on Suboxone or you're going to die. And that's all I heard. And I was like, okay. You know, so I go to my IOP. I tell them what just happened. I told them I didn't want to use, you know, whatever. So that day, I started on Suboxone. And I knew nothing about it at all. I just said, hey, the cravings are too intense. I'm at high risk for relapse. I need to get on this medication. And there was no questions asked. There was no nothing. And I didn't ask any questions either. That day I started Suboxone. And when I first started Suboxone for about a week, I was like, this is great. I was high because I wasn't on any substance, you know. And I was like, I get to do this thing and, like, you know, still feel the way I want to feel and, you know, whatever. Well, that obviously goes away when you get adjusted to your dose. And so when I wasn't so incoherent, I started to go back to NA. And now I felt like the strength or that I can contribute to sharing, you know, would be like, hey, I'm Amber, I'm an addict, whatever. So I raised my hand for the first time, and I was like, hey, I'm Amber, I'm an addict, and I've been clean for this amount of time, and I'm on Suboxone, and blah, blah, blah. And literally, I will never forget it. Everyone's face, like, everyone got 10 heads, their necks turned at me, and it was the most embarrassing / discouraging thing. I will never forget it. And someone nudged me next to me and said, don't ever share that you're on Suboxone here again. And that's all I was told. And so immediately I was like, what is wrong with this medication? And it just shunned me from sharing. I felt like my recovery didn't matter or anything. So I didn't go to NA for too long, but I did have someone finally come up to me. Nobody would sponsor me. Nobody would do anything. This was 9 years ago, so times may be different, but someone came up to me and she said, I'll sponsor you, but you can't tell anybody that you're on Suboxone. And I really never pressed it, but I was just like, oh, okay, you know, but it kept me quiet and ashamed for this entire 9 years. And so I worked the steps for a while, but then I felt unauthentic and less than because I couldn't share my whole truth and my journey of how I was doing my recovery. So I slowly left the room, but I stayed on Suboxone. However, I did not share this with a soul because of this. And I remember that lonely feeling that you're not good enough for the sobriety feeling. You're not like us because you're on something else. And I don't want anyone to ever feel like that. And that is why I support all paths of recovery to this day. I don't give a shit what you're doing, how you're doing it. As long as you're doing it, I'm proud of you. And I just want everybody to know that. So 2 years into the Suboxone, you know, it's working for me. You know, Suboxone saved my life, okay? It works wonders for people. It does everything. But I, personally, it started ruining my life till after 9 years. I was never told I'd be sick if I wasn't on this medication or anything. And I remember a couple years into it, I just, like, stopped taking it for whatever reason. And it was, like, 2 or 3 days later where the withdrawal hit me. And I was walking to work. And I started to feel like shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is when I realized, like, this is just like something else. You cannot just stop it. And that kept me on it for much longer because nobody wants to feel that sickness. So I just kind of kept it inside. I kept doing what I needed to do. I kept being on Suboxone, so on and so forth. Then comes the really dear to my heart place that I really have compassion for. I have compassion for all of it, but I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I found out 3 days after conception. But the only thing I was worried about was that I was on Suboxone. And all I knew was that I would be sick if I didn't have it. So what is going to happen to my baby when I get on it? And every single time, every single doctor, every appointment, we're married now, but I've been with my husband for years. He was at every appointment. He's not an addict. He's never been on any of this medication, but he knew that I was asking at every appointment, and they always told us the same thing. As long as you breastfeed, you'll be fine, and don't stop taking this medication. And what we just need to do is switch you from the suboxone strips to the Subutex, which is without the naloxone in it. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm naive, so that's all I knew. Every appointment I asked, I tried to research things. There was nothing out there about any of this stuff. So fast forward to my delivery. I have her, I have my daughter, everything's fine. She's beautiful, the whole 9 yards. Well, when I first had her, you know, I had to be induced. And I was told, you're not going to suffer with pain because we're just going to have to up the pain medication dose to offset the Subutex that you're on. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. Well, when I went for my induction, they all treated me like I was a piece of shit. They didn't need to say why they were treating me like that. I just knew. And it felt like every single person, I mean, there was nothing was happy about this experience other than my daughter was born alive and healthy. And I am here, and what I'm about to share is there is no need to feel guilty about this, or I don't want anyone to be scared if they're on it. Or I don't want any pregnant mom to be watching this and think, well, I was going to get on Suboxone and now I'm not because of this, because that is such a lot safer option. And this is where it's really dear to my heart about you just need to find a support system. I don't care if it's me. I'll give you my phone number. I will be there the whole pregnancy talking to you. Just to have someone who understands what you're going through, because you might face judgment no matter if you're giving birth off of heroin or you're giving birth on Suboxone, you know. And it just, if I knew that, it would have helped me a lot more, I think. And so that's why I know it was the safest option for my baby. I know all of that. I knew I couldn't stop it. But the judgment and shame I felt was unreal. And I was told, even after she delivered, that everything was fine as long as I breastfed. So I was going to health food stores. I was doing whatever I could for 9 months to produce as much milk as I could. But what I didn't realize what was going to happen to me was, because they wouldn't give me anything for pain other than the epidural, as soon as I gave birth to her, naturally, the excruciating amount of pain, it's like it wore off or something. I can't explain it. I still remember it to this day, how bad the pain was. She couldn't come on me for the skin to skin right after because I was screaming bloody murder in pain. And so we got into the other room, and I tried to breastfeed her. She wouldn't latch, and I was devastated because for 9 months I was told my baby would be okay as long as I breastfed. And so I'm trying to get help with the breastfeeding, and I'm trying to do all this stuff, and nobody, you know, they're like, oh, well, we're not giving you a pump right now. You just got to keep doing it. We'll send a lactose, whatever the name is, in here. They never came. It was like a day or so. My daughter still never got my breast milk, and I was mortified because I was like, what is going to happen to her? Well, finally, they do end up bringing the pump in. It was like day 2, but nothing barely was coming out, and I was devastated. But she still seemed okay and was healthy, and everything was fine. There's a lot of student doctors where I was at the time, too. And again, I asked, is she going to be okay off this medication? Everybody told me yes. And matter of fact, I got discharged on my way to discharge before, and I was like, great, like, whew, this is a sigh of relief. Well, it was about an hour till I was about to leave the hospital, and a social worker came and knocked on the door. She said hi, and I was packing our stuff up. She said, what are you guys doing? I said, we're leaving, we're being discharged. She says, oh, no, you're not. She says, right here, there's a huge, you know, protocol for these type of medication, and blah, blah, blah. They need to be monitored. They need this, they need that. And I will never forget that feeling of just devastation, because I asked for 9 months. I was the only person at my clinic, too, that ever got pregnant at this clinic on it. My dose was now up from 16 milligrams to 24 because about 5-6 months into my pregnancy, I started to get sick. So they had to up my dose. So I was on an extremely high dose. Well, I kind of swallowed that okay. I was angry at the doctors, but I still thought everything was going to be okay. Well, there was a lot more moms coming in and stuff. So they said, you have to go. We don't have a room for you anymore. But your daughter's still going to need to be here and monitored. So why don't you just go home? You've been through a lot. Take a shower. You could come right back and visit her and whatever. So I was like, okay. So I leave. It wasn't even 30 minutes that I left. I got a call. I wasn't even done my shower yet. And they said, Amber, I'm sorry to say, your daughter went into extremely high withdrawal, and we're putting her in the NICU. She's already started on morphine. And I had no say. I had no control. I had nothing. And, I'm sorry. It was so horrible. So I go to the NICU. And again, I'm treated with such disgust, and like I was scum of the earth. Like I was walking in there with a needle in my arm. And that's not the case at all. I was clean for years. And I shut off all visitors. I shut off everything because I just felt like I had to hold on to her. And I just kept holding her and apologizing over and over and over, saying, I'm so sorry for Mommy's choices that are putting you like this in this predicament. And you know, she was in there about 2.5 to 3 weeks. They tapered her from the morphine off, and she's been okay and fine. But the shock about it was so intense. I still have guilt to this day. I will never forget certain things or anything, and just shame on the damn medical profession for that. And so I can't imagine the judgment that would have came if I was actually on street drugs and I came there. And I just want any mom to know that that is the safest option for your baby, whether you're coming off street drugs or not. And you can't just stop it. And you can't just stop it, you know, but please.
She fell off. Man, I feel that makes me sad for her, you guys. Like she really went through it with the hospital, it sounds like. And that's the thing. It's like the luck of the draw is what I've noticed with people, pregnant women that are on subs. I know some pregnant women that their babies don't have any withdrawal, and then I know other pregnant women whose children have terrible withdrawal. And so I don't really know. I wonder how, you know, why that is, you know. But she'll come back on. Don't worry. I just feel for her. There she is. Yay. No, that's not her. Never mind. I thought that was her. Yeah, we are literally at, you can come back on, Amber. Just, do I need to send you an invite? Let me see. There we go. And I'm sorry, y'all, if it's echoing, but like this is as good as it gets today because we are having major technical difficulties.
I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And I just seen a comment about that lady has amazing eyebrows, you guys. It is all natural. I don't do anything to my eyebrows. I appreciate the compliment. I get it all the time. It's literally just normal waxing, and that's it. I don't put nothing on it or anything. But thank you for the compliment. So so now here I am, you know, my daughter's healthy at home, but that shame and guilt was so horrible that I co-slept with her for years. I felt like the only thing I could do to keep her with me and to not let her go again was to co-sleep and all that. This is actually going bad. So then let's see. Okay, so but I never had any inclination, even after all that I went through, and I'm leaving some of the stuff out, to ever get off of it. I thought because any time there was talk about it, it was you were on it for life. You were on it for life. It was medication, just like diabetes, and you're on it for life. There was no talk about it. So I just knew that I could never go through something like that again, and I accepted that I just would never have another child because of this, because of how awful of an experience I had. So then my daughter's 7 now, and she's advanced for her age, you know, and healthy, and just like her mama, and all that stuff. So I'm really blessed for that. So all that stuff. So where was I? Okay, so now I'm like 8 years in. And between the time I gave birth and stuff and after, you know, family members that might have known that I was on it or whatever, when are you going to get off that stuff? You're just getting high. You need to get off of it. Shame on you. Look what you did with your daughter. Blah, blah, blah. And so I would go to my clinic and share in my group, like, about what they were saying. And again, I was just told, you just got to tell them, this is what I need to do for my recovery. Again, you're on it for life. I knew no other way. I just felt like I had to be on it for life. So then 8 years in, I want to say 7 or 8 years in, I started noticing extreme side effects. I'm talking constipation for weeks at a time. My teeth hurt so bad. I was not the same person anymore. It was affecting my mental health. I was blowing up like a balloon. I was getting fat and fat and fatter and fatter. It was like I was gaining 2 pounds a day. It was crazy. I wasn't the mom I wanted to be anymore because of all these side effects that were happening to me. I just had no ambition to do anything. I was just laying there on the couch outside of work, and, you know, it became a normal part of my life when I thought, like, I was constipated for years, but it was just the way it was. That's just how it was. But it wasn't until
Girl, God, I gotta poop every day. I poop every morning. I got a system, okay? Because my husband, he has like major messed up gastrointestinal situation. He gets constipated like that. And so we got a system, honey. We drink Miralax at night. We take us a little bit of Miralax and some water, drink that at night, drink some prune juice. We take fiber medication and probiotics, and that makes us both regular. And thank God, because I could not handle that.
It became like, a normal part of my life. It was unheard of. Like, I did not poop for weeks at a time. And the only way I could was an enema or something. And any doctor I went to, anything I went to for help, they would try to run tests, but they just, well, it's a medication you're on. No advice, no nothing. And if you are backed up like that for so long, it just became part of my normal life. I did not realize that it was like bad or affecting me until about 8 years in. Urinary retention. I would drink a gallon of water, let's say, and know my bladder was full, but I would go on the toilet and I could not urinate. It would take me a while, or I'd have to turn on the water. So many other different kinds of side effects, but the worst one was, I'd be swollen all the time. My hands, my face, you know, everything. And when I started to notice this, I started to put 2 and 2 together after several tests that was done for me for the side effects, that no, it's got to be the suboxone. So I go to my clinic and I say, hey, I don't feel right. I don't feel good anymore on this. I think I'm stable enough in my recovery to get off. Blah, blah, blah. Every single time I was shut down. You can't get off this. You're just going to relapse and die. You're having your own death sentence signed. You know, just so not encouraging words. There was no talk about it. So there was a lot of doctors and counselors that constantly were rotating out of the clinic. So I had no support.
That's why, because they weren't building a rapport with you. Like that's not that shouldn't be happening. You should be seeing the same doctor, the same counselor every single time, so that way you build a relationship with them and a trust. Because a doctor that knew you and knew you'd been on subs for that long should be like, okay, I'll help you taper. You know what I'm saying? Like, 9 years of being on suboxone and not having no problems or failing drug tests. It sounds like you were going to a place where they just wanted to take your money. So keeping you on suboxone longer or forever is good for them. You know what I mean? And then I do get that some people are afraid for us, but if they're just somebody that just came in and they're not afraid for you. They don't even know who you are. You know, they're like
the same place for 9 years.
Patients.
I didn't fail any drug tests. I didn't anything. Excuse me, twice, but it was false, whatever you want to call it. they switched companies, and I was on like antibiotic, and it was coming up for, I think it was like morphine or something. That wasn't even anything I ever used, you know. And there's another thing. I was mortified. They call me in years in, Amber, your urine's dirty. What? Oh, I don't know if we can keep giving you this medication. And that also is another thing where it was like I started begging for my life so I wasn't sick, to get these people to believe that I wasn't taking anything. I was like, I don't give a shit. I will take a blood test right now. You could take a hair test. I need this medication. And it was, for me, it's starting to be like, I'm like, what the hell is this? This is just like drugs. I'm begging for stuff on the street. Like, this is crazy. But again, I was deterred wherever I went. And I accepted that for about another year or so. So there was new doctors that came in, counselors, same thing. You know, you need to be on it for life, blah, blah, blah. Well, I just woke up one day and I'm like, you know what? F this. I want to be able to have another child. I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to poop normal. I want to be able to pee normal. And I'll be damned if I don't. I'll be like, I feel like now I've been away from all people, places, and things for 9 years. Like, I can get my own support system and do this without relapsing, like, you know. So I had no support. So I tried to research stuff. There was nothing. There's nothing. That from now, there's all kinds of stuff, of course, now that I'm off of it, 170 days. But there was nothing then. And I just was so determined to get off of it. Now I knew I couldn't be sick. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I work 50, 60 hours a week outside of my platform. There was no option for me to be sick. So I thought about it for several months, and I was like, I gotta like taper myself from it. And I came up with my own plan. And now that I know, like, basically from you, Nikki, like, you could have went way slower and lower with more support, I would have not suffered as badly as I did, but it was still manageable. And I lowered my dose, and I had no support, no counselor, no nothing. And I do not recommend that for anybody, because it's a huge mental toll on you while you're tapering. I also was extremely codependent on situations with my parents. You know, they're very sick, addiction, mental health, etc. And I've always been the fixer or the go-to person. So I was dealing with a lot of different things, and I struggled so bad for my taper. But it wasn't until several dose tapers that I realized, like, okay, I got to ask myself every time, like, you know, is this going on? Is that going on? Before I go down in my dose again, because it was only harming me and my mental health. So over time, and with a lot of trials and errors, I realized, like, it's not a race to get off. I thought I was going to be off this shit in 30 days. And let me tell you, when that 30 days came and went and I wasn't, I was so mad at myself. So the number one thing is I tell people, do not have a date to get off of it. Please do not have a date. Just know the end goal in sight is there. You know, that's all you need to know. You don't need to put a rush on it or anything. You need to go low and slow. And I tapered for about 8 months or so, but I still didn't do it so much the right way. I wasn't sick, but I should have went a lot lower and slower. You know, looking back, I tortured myself, you know, mentally. I didn't really have too much physical withdrawals other than yawning and sneezing a lot. But, yeah, so then, towards the end of my taper, a new doctor came in that was like, hell yeah, get off this shit. But I was already down to like below 2 milligrams at this point. I said, well, I've already been doing this for X amount of time. She couldn't believe it. She's like, I support you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll just check in with you every month. And that's how we did it. But I still didn't really have guidance or anything. And I had so much faith and belief in this clinic. I want to share that too. And when this doctor came, like, I thought we were going to do big things. Like, she talked to me about a lot of things. You know, she had her own practice aside from all that. We were going to write a book, a patient, doctor perspective, like all this stuff. Like, I was like, yeah, but none of that happened. As soon as I told them I got off, you guys, they cut me. They cut me immediately. I didn't have a congratulations. I didn't have a one last visit like I was supposed to. I went here for 9 years. And let me tell you, that shit hurt, and I was pissed. I wanted to just be able to say, I did this, I got off of it, thank you for everything. This is, my life. I wanted to have some closure, and I didn't get that, but that's okay. So for the taper, I got down to 1 milligram, and because I didn't have the right ways to do it, I was very sick, and it got to the point where I was not able to manage the hours anymore from dose to dose without me feeling like shit. And remember, I was on Suboxone, not Suboxone. So there wasn't that longer half-life that you experience. And I literally just woke up one day. It was in the middle of the week, I believe. It was June 1st, and I said, I'm done. This is the last dose I'm ever taking. So at 1 milligram, I quit. I had a horrible detox. I somehow managed it. My pipes blew the day I detoxed, so I couldn't shower or take a bath during this process. Someone hacked my debit card. I couldn't go out and buy. I mean, I had some things stored for like supplements and stuff, but not the way I wanted to have. I couldn't go out to the store really. I basically thought I was going to die for a week straight. And my daughter, I prepared her. Mommy's going to be getting off this medication. She's 7, so it was we're all we got. So I didn't really have the luxury to like putting her off with somebody for this or whatever. So I just had to prepare. Mommy's going to be sick like the flu, but when this is over, Mommy's going to be off this stuff. And it was like one of the really bad days of the withdrawal, and my daughter came up to me and said, Mommy, I don't want you to get off this stuff anymore. Go take it. I didn't know you were going to be this sick. You said it was going to be like a flu. And I tried so hard to hide it from her, but I couldn't. And so hearing that from her obviously broke my heart. Of course, at any time I could have been like, you're right, and went and took it. But I was just so determined to get off of it that I just persevered. I can't explain it through. But that's why now, so in March of this year, I created my private support group. And I did it privately because I was so ashamed and not willing to share, and I'm working on a lot of traumas and stuff. I could not share any of this personally. So I made this support group, and why I made it was when I was lower in my taper and I was laying in my bed, and I just had this realization like, God, I'm still suffering after all these years, and this isn't fair. This isn't right. I've gotten a job. I've got my life back. I've been doing amazing for myself. I'm a good mom. I'm this and that. Why am I still laying here suffering with no support or anything? And I just had something come over me like, there has to be more people out there like me that have been on this for so long, that have no support getting off and have nothing. And I don't want anyone to ever feel this way. So I don't know, the higher power, whatever you want to say, just I made the group, and I just slowly started dropping the group, in like Reels and Dr. B's Reels and stuff, actually, places like that. And it grew, it's not huge. It's about almost 600 members, but that's okay. I'm on TikTok now, and I can literally see, I shared a lot of my taper journey on there, the ups and downs. I can literally see from the first time I started it till now, I have so much more light in me. I feel more comfortable to share. I finally got a support system. I got people who understand me, like-minded people, because you guys, for years, I thought I was crazy, and I thought I was alone. And it all boils back down to the NA shunning me and all that, and when I felt like I could not share it with anybody, and I was quiet my whole life. I was taught you don't share anything. There's always people that have it worse than you, so I always felt invalidated. I dealt with a lot of, abuses growing up, all that, so it just was unheard of that my feelings mattered or what I was going through mattered, and I went through my whole life like that up until this year in March. And also, that's important for me to share, because once you start to open up and share with like-minded people, number one, you're not going to feel so crazy. Number two, you're going to start to be able to heal your, you know, and start to heal the things that made you use in the beginning anyway, to begin with. And so, of course, I had a fear of relapsing when I got off this shit. Of course, I struggle still. But now it's a little different, because when I do have those thoughts, I'll get on my group, I'll go live, I'll do something, I'll message somebody, you know, I'll do something to help me get out of that. I'm able to identify triggers now. I'm able to just everything. This year, I'm coming up, this month, November 24th, will be 10 years off drugs. 10 years.
That's awesome.
I never even counted my sobriety time, nothing, until people started asking me, like, how long have you been clean for, you know, on my platforms? And I'm like, oh shit, let me go and do some math. And I was like, holy shit. And so if I could do it and have my daughter telling me those things, and I had no support, I don't recommend that for anybody. You need to get some type of support, you know, but I still know there's so many clinics out there that are the same way as mine was. And if you are determined to get off this, you can. There's not a lot of clinics that are like, yeah, we have this whole plan for you. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. The sad reality is they are about money, you know? So I'm here for anybody. Even if you do have a supportive clinic, you're still going to need outside support with like-minded people that know what you're going through, you know? But I'm here for all of that. I'm here for the pregnancy journey, because I know if you're on whatever substance or suboxone, you're going to be questioning things. You're going to be scared to death that your child may or may not withdraw. You know, they've came a long way in 9 years, I will say. You know, I work with a lot of pregnant moms now, and educating them. They have came a long way, and at least letting them know what may transpire. And they do like this 5-day watch, I guess, or something. But there's still ones out there, you know, still the shame, the guilt, and the stigma, and they don't treat us that well. That's still there. So they've changed it, but they haven't changed it all. And when I was able to support the first pregnant mom who was scared to death to give birth on Suboxone with her baby, it was like everything that I endured, it finally it came to me like, you endured this for a reason, to help other people so that they don't ever have to go through this. And her name is Amber too, and she'll tell you, you know, she was there day and night talking to me on the phone, and she was scared to death for several months. And her baby didn't go through withdrawal. They just had to be monitored for 5 days. Right. You just don't know. It's hit or miss.
It's weird.
But still that fear is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going to happen? I don't know much. So I'm here for all of that. And I'm slowly starting to come out of my cell and go public. I do go live on TikTok. On my normal Facebook page, I haven't gone live yet, but I did make a post recently, like, guys, make sure you guys are following me, because I'm going to be coming up here soon. I'm just working on a couple more things in therapy. But I go live often in my Facebook group, and I'm just here for everyone, for any of that, whatever path of recovery they're on. You freaking matter. It's not invalid. It's nothing. I'm proud of you, because climbing out of those walls of addiction is hard as hell. And shame on anybody who tells you you're not sober because you're on it. Because you're on Suboxone or methadone.
Yeah, fuck all that bullshit.
Fuck them. You know.
A lot of people who do that they feel superior to us. Okay, so they feel as if we are like getting over, or we have, you know, eluded withdrawal, when all of us have been through withdrawal. I mean, we have to go through withdrawal to get onto Suboxone, you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I think it's just like a superior/jealousy thing, you know, but I used to let that bother me when I first got on Suboxone, but now I don't even sweat that shit. I'm like, whatever, man. And I know if you got on Suboxone before I did, because I got on it in 2015. And when I started talking about it online in 2016, 2017, there was nobody talking about being on Suboxone. And people were fucking stoning me to death, dude. Like, making fun of me, making fucking memes about me, all kinds of mean ass shit. And so, like, I can't even imagine what it was like before that, trying to go into the recovery community, being on subs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
fuck out.
No,
I know it was awful.
So
I'm really proud of you, girl, though, and I'm proud of you for getting out there and sharing your story. It's scary at first, but you'll get used to it, and the more your platform grows, the more crazy motherfuckers will be coming on your shit. But just fucking block them, okay? Just block them. Don't be like me and pop it off and during your live streams cussing people out, because then it's just not good. It's so overwhelming, and I have I believe that you will, have all these people, like helping all these people, and it's going to be amazing. But stay connected to your support system, because it can be super overwhelming, and it can make you depressed too. But anyway, I'm just really proud of you, and I admire you that you have been able to get off Suboxone, because that's going to be me one day. Only I'm not like you. Like, I guess because, did you struggle with depression when you got off?
I got dark really bad, lower in my taper, and I stayed there. I was so scared. I'm talking bad thoughts, I don't want to even share them. And it was really scary, and it stayed for like 3 weeks or longer. And I thought, like, my brain is broken, and this is how I'm going to be forever. So I stayed at that dose for a long time. And then one day I woke up and it was better. But that scared me so bad that I got into therapy, and I got a psychiatrist. And I have ADHD very bad, so I am on Adderall. Everyone always asks me, how's your energy level off that? I can't give you a genuine answer because I'm on Adderall. So I'm not going to say I'm yippee yay yay. Like, I definitely notice, after a day's work and all that, and I'm tired, but I don't have that lethargic thing that a lot of people are worried about because of that. And I've been on that for years. But I also got on Lexapro because I'm a very, very anxious person. So I got that stuff in check. So the more I struggled with when I got off, actually, believe it or not, was cravings. The cravings got so intense that I thought I was thinking of stopping a homeless man on the street, because I've been out of the game for years, to say, hey, could you get me something? I mean, I was sitting in my car for hours crying, literally white knuckling the shit. And a lot of it is like pain is my trigger. I have like a bad neck and stuff, and it goes out. And it was just like, I can't. And the pain is really a lot more intense when you get off of it. That I will say. But
I bet.
Again,
yeah,
the pain.
For real. I know it's going to be tough.
Okay.
Even jumping off 0.25, I felt withdrawal. I still felt withdrawal. It wasn't anything like I've been through before, but I still experienced some withdrawal. Now, my friend Reed, he got down to a quarter of 1 milligram, and what he did was he started skipping days, and then he would put 2 days in between and go every 2 days, and then 3 days, and he walked off of it and he was like, I'm fine. And I'm like, wow, dude, like, that's why I know that, like, I had it. I was right there at 0.25. If I had just paused and stuck where I was at for a minute, let myself get stable, and then continue on. But I wanted to prove people wrong so bad, because I was getting so much hate for being on subs, people talking shit, saying I shouldn't make content or share my story because I was on subs. So I wanted to prove people wrong, And I just was miserable when I got off, and I was depressed, like suicidal depressed.
That's what I was talking about.
What I mean?
The lower
and I
part
have a child. Yeah. I got a kid. I can't be depressed like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I love you, girl. I have to go pick up my little boy from school, or else I would just stay on here and we could answer questions and stuff like that. But if you ever want to go live with me again, and that way you could like talk to people and stuff, I want to figure out how to get you on there, because I don't have a problem with like letting you just be on here. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be so cool. And I want to give other people opportunity to be on here. You know what I'm saying? So text me, let me know, what your availability is and stuff like that. And I'll get you back on. And I just appreciate all of you guys that came out to hang out with us, and that were
and I'll go
cool.
Look at the comments when we get off, and I'll respond to you guys. I wasn't paying attention to them because I had to talk, but I will.
And I put your TikTok, I put your TikTok account, I linked it in the pinned comment, so that way everybody can see there, and they'll go follow you on your TikTok. If you want to throw your Facebook link in there, do that too, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, girl.
Bye.
Bye.